I want to spend a little bit of time talking about the anticipation guides and the anticipation guide rubric. The purpose of the anticipation guide is for you to show that you have understood either the reading or the chapter, the PowerPoint, anything that has to do with class that you're coming into, and that you've prepared ahead of time before class, and that you have mastered the main concepts from that chapter or that reading or that lecture. The anticipation guides will be used for the midterm and final exams. I will be taking some of the questions, I will reword them slightly, and then I will have different word counts so that you will be able to tell some of those questions or answer some of those questions from the anticipation guide on the midterm exam and the final exam. Of course, you will not have access to your notes, and so it's important to learn this material. Now, the anticipation guide responses to prompts must be submitted to the Turnitin drop box before the class is scheduled to begin, even for days that the class may not meet. I will be looking at the Turnitin, or I'll be grading them through the Turnitin drop box. And when I do that, I will be able to see if you've been just copying material out of the book or you've been copying from your friend. I will be able to determine whether you have copied too much or have not copied too much, and I will make note of that in my comments to you about the assignment. So you don't need to worry about that right now. Let me worry about that, and as long as you're putting everything into your own words, that you're summarizing, for instance, and that you're not just copying it straight from the book or another source or from a friend, you should be fine. The anticipation guide question, which is the one at the end, the last one where it asks you to ask a question about the chapter or the reading or the lecture, that question, because there are questions all the way through, but the anticipation guide question, which is not necessarily a prompt, but it's a question, that is going to be submitted to the Edmodo discussion forum before the class is scheduled to begin, and your friends will be able to see those questions. And I'll be looking to see at those questions, and I will be answering those questions in class, and I'll be answering them individually as well after class is over. Now, I have to wait until both classes have met, because one class meets one day and the other class meets the next day, and sometimes there might even be a weekend break between classes for when they respond to the anticipation guides, but I will answer as many questions as I have time for. Now, for the rubric. For all 10 points, you're going to need to have no grammar, punctuation, spelling, word choice errors. Shows deep understanding of course concepts for all prompts. Response does not use quotations or copied phrases. And response is within the word count limits. You can go a little bit over. I definitely do not want you to go under, but if there's just no way you can answer it in the maximum word count, I will allow you to go over, especially if a lot of other people are going over. Don't go too much over. You can go over 10, 20 words, but don't give me a whole page of response. That's for the 10 points. Now, most students, most of the time, will probably get 8 points. That's my expectation, and that's what it was last semester. Most students got 8 points. Weakness in one of the criteria above, or weak or confused response to one prompt. And that's quite common. It's hard to get them all on each one. So if you keep up and you're getting 8s all the way through, you're actually doing well. So don't feel bad if you're not getting perfect. At the beginning, it'll be hard for anyone to get perfect. Maybe there'll be 1 or 2, maybe 3 responses from students or students who will get perfect. But as the semester goes on, you'll see more and more 10s and fewer 8s and 6s and so forth. A weakness means it's not fully answered, or you're a little bit confused about one of the answers. You've left something out, or you're putting things in there that really don't belong. And I will tell you which number response is actually weak. I'll tell you which numbered response is actually confused, and you're welcome to come and talk to me about that. 6 points. Weakness in 2 of the criteria above, or weak or confused response to 2 prompts. 4 points. Weakness in 3 of the criteria above, and or weak confused response to 3 prompts. It can be a combination of weakness or confusion between the two. If your 3 of the prompts are that way, then you'd get 4 points. 0 points, not present in class or non-responsive to 1 or more prompts. You leave one blank just because you can't find the answer, you don't have any clue, or maybe you just didn't have time, and you'll get 0 points for an incomplete response. Okay, I hope this helps, and I'll be happy to talk to you about any of the grades or any of the responses where you don't get all of